Davis Music Academy, we provide ear training, note reading, sight reading, a bunch of different methods that is all inclusive. So it's a great way a better dimension to learn music.
As a musician myself, I had high expectations, and I wanted the full package, not just sight reading and knowing notes. I wanted a foundation, I wanted an education. I wanted the kids to learn a second language of music and have it with them. And Davis Music Academy gave me what I wanted.
They teach not only sight reading, but they learn ear training, and they learn theory and how to compose music, and really they're learning these things from a really young age, and it's just part of their curriculum, and they get it, and I've learned a lot.
Here we take an ear before eye approach. So we will start a song by singing it, by dancing to it, doing different rhythm exercises to it before we ever introduce the student to the notes that are on the page. So they've heard this sequence of notes for a few times, and then they sit at the piano and then they start to play the song that's already in their head. And it's just a great way to approach music because they're getting it using so many different senses that it comes naturally when they sit down at the piano.
There's flashcards with the notes and the intervals, and they see the different chord progressions, and we practice singing it and learn the distance between notes and a lot of different things that are going to make a difference as they are playing music in the future. It's going to come in really handy, and they're getting it, and they're actually making music now.
It's an organized curriculum, it's structured, yet the teachers are so encouraging, and in each lesson, it's kind of a layered approach where it builds on each other, and it's amazing to see how they learn something one week, and then the next week we build upon that and just keep going, and by the end of the course, it's pretty neat to just see how it all comes together and they're playing this beautiful music on their own.
Some of the things that set Davis Music Academy apart from maybe a traditional way of learning music are we teach using a solfege method, which some people have heard of that referred to as the do-re-mi method. And that's an important way to learn music, I believe, because it helps a child to learn to audiate pitches. So typically our students will walk away having learned perfect pitch, if not perfect pitch, good relative pitch. Simply through hearing those sounds, it allows them the opportunity to be able to sing along with their music. And as they're singing, the solfege kind of helps their fingers know what to do. And so it transfers to the piano. And that's hugely important. If you ask any musician what they want to learn pitch. And we start at a young age developing that.
And the kids are able to transition from solfege to note reading very easily and very smoothly. In fact, it's like a miracle when it happens. It's like a blink of an eye when they can go from solfege to notes and back to solfege, and it helps with ear training, helps with note recognition, and it helps them have a solid foundation of that note and what it means and how it's heard, and they can transpose with that knowledge easier, and they can do intervals easier with that knowledge, and it just gives them a stronger foundation of that theory and that note reading and the ear training with learning solfege.
My daughter can hear a song, whether it's on the radio or just someone singing it, and then she tinkers around on the piano and can actually figure out which notes those are and the correlation there, and it really surprised me, but it's really neat to see.
Between the intervals and the solfege, they can figure something out on the piano without a sheet music in front of them. They have the opportunity to actually apply it daily.
It comes at a time in their life when they're learning so much language acquisition, and they're getting that ear training right from the start, and it's taking them a long ways. My kids are doing really well with that.
One of the things I love about Davis Music Academy is being able to come to class, and I love that parent involvement because my daughter would not be able to progress if I weren't there with her and have that accountability with her, and it really does help with practices at home and for me to know what's going on and how I can help her, and I just really like to see what she's working on, and then we just kind of grow together, and I really enjoy that.
I love lessons in a group setting because not only does it help with progression and keeping me motivated to keep her motivated, but it also self-motivates her, because if she's not prepared for class, then she's performing and passing off constantly in class, and she feels silly for not being prepared. And so we have to work throughout the week to make sure that she's ready, and it motivates her to learn and motivates her to get the things done that she needs to each week to excel at what she's doing.
The group environment solidified progression that couldn't happen one-on-one with a teacher and that student on their own. They have the opportunity to compete every lesson. It's a competition, and that is a good competition, a healthy competition, one that allows the kids to be proud of what they're accomplishing along the way. Even those little teeny tiny milestones become something that they're willing to practice for, because they have that excitement of sharing when they get to a lesson.
He got tons of one-on-one attention, and it actually helped him because he became accountable. And one kid in the class had it memorized, he wanted to have it memorized, and it encouraged him rather than discouraged him. And so that's one thing that I loved, is the group setting. And then they kind of become friends with these kids and grow up with them, and it's just a fun camaraderie, and it was never an issue whatsoever.
The children work together as a group, and they pass off songs in front of each other, so they practice performing each week. And it also adds a little motivation to do well, especially for my boys. When they came to group lessons, it was like a competition of who can play the song the best. And it was frustrating when they came unprepared, but that group environment helped them progress faster, and it also had an extra motivation to do well.
These kids are learning college theory now. They're learning it at 7 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old, in a way that they'll never forget. They have that theory that follows them and makes music easy, makes it fun. They don't even know they're learning theory.
It just forces them to progress, and there's a great balance in the teachers between expecting a lot from the children, but also being graceful and encouraging and enthusiastic. And I love that balance. The way the teachers treat all the students and celebrate every milestone I think the group setting is fantastic.
The children are able to move their bodies. They get up and they move to the keyboard, they play pieces, and we're there for about the length of their attention span. We go back to another activity. Throughout the entire class, we rotate from one thing to the other. The children are learning the entire time, and their attention is always engaged, because activities are able to be felt and heard and incorporated and made by the children.
In these classes, he is able to be interactive and move from the floor to where he's learning to the piano, back and forth, and it's able to keep his attention, even though he's crazy sometimes, but he thrives in these classes and has learned so much because of the structure and the style that they have here at Davis Music Academy.
The floor time is just as important, I think, as the piano time, because they're learning music theory, they're chanting rhythms, they're practicing their note recognition, they're playing other instruments, they're composing. My 7-year-old is composing. I mean, I love the floor time, and it's a great balance between piano time and I think the floor time reinforces what they're learning on the piano.
All of our teachers are certified to teach the program. We have specific training that they have to go through. They use set lesson plans every week that helps them to teach every student every concept that they need to walk away with.
I love the teachers at Davis Music Academy. They're encouraging, and they just make it fun, and it's obvious that they enjoy what they do, and they're willing to brainstorm with you and your child on how to make their experience the best that it can be.
They have a way of teaching the younger kids so that they love it and they learn it, and they progress really well.
The teachers have a way of bringing the absolute best out in the student, even in a group environment, even if it's not one-on-one. That student feels the warmth and the love of the teacher that they don't get in an environment that they just visit 30 minutes once a week. They look forward to going to see that teacher again. They look forward to making that teacher proud of their progression.
The instructors, they support the parents, they are there for you, they have motivation for the kids to pass off songs, they have prizes, they have challenge, and when you're feeling low into those wavy highs and lows of piano practice, they get you through the lows and celebrate your highs, and it comes easier to practice.
it's a great place for kids of all ages, starting young and getting older.